Hi, this is Tony Davis, and I'm here today talking to Richard White, former executive head teacher of St Paul's and St Leonard's Church of England primary schools in Hastings and St Leonard's. Richard, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Tony. Really nice to be with you.
Nice to have you along. And you're about to undertake some enormous adventure.
I am, yes. I'm very lucky to be taking part in the Clipper Around the World yacht race. So I will be leaving here on the 28th of August to go down to Portsmouth to pick up my boat. The race will actually start on the 3rd of September, and I'll be racing from Portsmouth in England across via Spain to Uruguay, having a bit of a stopover. Some crew will stop and leave, and some crew will join. And then leg two, I'll be going from Uruguay to South Africa. So I'm very excited.
Wow, yeah. So, how did you go about getting involved in this? I mean, I know that it was an idea that you had before you actually retired from teaching. So, how did it all sort of pan out?
Well, it was a funny story, Tony. We were up in London one day, going for a weekend to go to the theatre, and by chance we decided to have breakfast in St Katharine's Docks. And in St Katharine's Docks were the 2019 race boats waiting to start the race. And as you know me very well, I said to my wife, I want to do that. So I made a few chats to some of the crew and started to get some feel of what it was going to be like. Obviously, COVID came along, so I managed to get my sign up and interest before COVID, had all my interviews done via online on Teams, and then have undergone 4 levels of training, including some survival at sea and some collision regulation training to get this far. So it's been quite a journey. Obviously, the race was due to start last year, hence me retiring last year. But as we know, don't things happen as the way we always want them to happen? So the race is now beginning in September. So I'm very fortunate to be on this race.
Okay, and it's not sort of it's not just a casual sail along, is it? It's a real hardcore experience, isn't it?
So it's a full-on. They're Clipper 70, so they're 70-foot boats with a crew of about 20. It is a full-on race. It's non-stop, 24-hour sailing. So a crew of about 20. We do a watch system, so half the crew are on, half the crew are off. Most of us are novices or with some sailing experience. We have a professional captain and a professional AQP, additional qualified person. And then we share it. So over the 4 levels of training, I've learned how to sail the boat, how to steer it, how to navigate it, how to live on it because it's very cramped conditions, how to get on with people. 24/7 is quite something to be in a small confined space. And so it is a race. It's multinational. We've got crew from all around the world. And of course, it's a circumnavigation. So over the 8 legs, the boats will be going from Portsmouth and returning in 44 weeks. So I'd love to do the full circumnavigation, but at the moment, I think 2 legs will be enough for me. So it's broken down into races. Each race is very competitive with winning boats, losing boats. There's a point system, and each boat has a sponsor. And the overall sponsor is UNICEF, which sponsors the whole race. But each boat has its individual sponsor, and we are sponsored by Beckezela Community Foundation, which is based in Cape Town, South Africa. So we'll be working to help some of the children out there who are much more needy than our children here in England. So it's a very appropriate partnership for me to be involved in, obviously, with my work with schools and with my work with Sierra Leone. So I'm very excited to be part of that. And their Beckezela is from the Zulu, and it means patience, perseverance, resilience, and endurance. And I think all 4 of those characteristics will be quite apparent when I'm on the boat 24/7.
I'm sure they will, yeah. I mean, I assume it's sort of, you're on the boat 24/7, but I assume there's sort of like shift breaks where you swap over and, one person gets out of bed as you get in, sort of.
Yeah, it's right. We do a watch system. So we're 6 hours on, 6 hours off. And we share the bunks. So the bunks are very minimal. They're adjustable. So when the boat's heeling over, we don't fall out and we are tied in. So obviously when the boat's on 45 degrees or sometimes 50 degrees, we don't actually fall out or roll out. So we work on that system, and we cook, we live aboard. There's no showers. It's only 2 toilets, which are very minimalist. And we purify our own water, and we carry just about enough food for the leg. So the first leg to Uruguay is 37 days non-stop, and the second leg's about 30. So I'm hoping to be returning mid to end of November from Cape Town.
I think you get a break in Uruguay on the way. How long are you sort of on land for in Uruguay?
We stopped for about 5 days, so we refit the boat, obviously restock the boat. Some of the crew will leave because they're only doing leg one. Some will join, so they've flown out to Uruguay. We do quite a lot of corporate work for the sponsors, so children are allowed on the boat. We do some tours. We take the boats out from the harbour so people get a feel of what it's like to be on a clipper race boat. And then the last couple of days, we're back to team tactics. We have to do practice man overboards. We have to practice lots of different things. And then it's done as a Le Mans start. So all the boats come out together and there's an imaginary line. And we just have the mainsail up and then we are counted down. Obviously, you go over the line, you have to do a penalty. And then we're allowed to raise our head sails and off we go. So the actual race start is probably the hairiest part of the actual overall race because we're all in very close proximity to each other.
And I imagine that after that first leg of 37 days at sea, it's going to take you a while to become stable on land again, I should think, isn't it?
It is a bit funny. You get quite used to it. It's actually easier being above deck than it is being below. So when it's blowing 20 knots or more, below deck's quite a hairy place to be. So we're strapped on above decks and we have special harnesses which move along the boat, but underneath we're not. So it is a precarious place to be, and balancing cooking and balancing doing other things we have to do are quite difficult.
Absolutely. Sounds, but right up your street, really, because I mean, you are a bit of an action man, aren't you? Because I know in the past you've climbed Kilimanjaro, and you've had hankering to do Everest as well.
Yeah, the big hill's still on the agenda, Tony. You know, obviously the governors will never release me at St Paul's. I don't know why, but so now I'm retired. Hopefully there'll be no excuse. So I think, 2014, 15, and 25. I'll be looking to do something around that. But at the moment, my focus is on this. Obviously, I've sailed dinghies all my life and done a lot of on the water, windsurfing, kayaking, etc. But these boats are very different. They're very fast and they have a lot more sails and lots of things can go wrong on them. So we're very well trained. The Clipper organisation, like I say, it's multinational. So on my crew, I've got people from Argentina, Malta, Canada, France, USA, Brits, Finland, all sorts. And it's very much about uniting the world. And obviously the UNICEF global sponsorship is such an important part of it. And, we have our responsibility to raise money for that, but also just to publicise the good work they're doing. And it was really interesting. I was on a seminar, I was just saying to you earlier, a really interesting seminar I was on earlier. And one of the UNICEF workers said to me, the key thing you've got to think about is every child deserves a childhood. And I think that really struck a chord with me. And hopefully we might get that motto into some of the work we do, because we are, going to be supporting some of the children in the most difficult countries in the world.
Absolutely. You talked about fundraising. I believe that you've had to raise sort of a stake to become a member of the crew. Is that correct?
You do, yeah. You're committed to raise. Each boat has to raise 30,000, and for the global 300,000 for the race. Well, it's 330,000 because there's 11 boats. So so we are committed to that. So we have a Just Giving page per person, and they all link into our boat Just Giving page. So it gathers all the funds together. So so far so good. I've managed to get money from local friends, family. Kylie's Carpets have been very generous to me. I said I publicise them, and hopefully some of our local builders have also been generous to me. And it's really good that people do take an interest and support me in what I'm doing.
Right. Okay. Would you like to give details of your Just Giving page, or do you have them to hand? Or if not, if you send them to me when we post the video, we'll put the details on there as well.
That'd be great if I could post you my link, because it's such a long link and I forget it. Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be quite interesting if I could post a video as well.
You could.
Just to give people an idea what it's like to be on one of these boats, because it's quite something.
That would be excellent. So, all being well, you should be back sort of just before Christmas. Is that right?
Yeah, hopefully end of November. It depends if I stay out in South Africa. There's lots of things pending. I'd also like to see a bit of Cape Town and do a bit of shark diving and what have you things. And so it just depends. But my leg will finish probably around the 12th, 13th of November.
Well, okay.
And of course they'll be setting off for leg 3, which goes across to Western Australia. So the new crew will be going, and I'll be wending my way,
waving them off from the jet.
Waving them off with a tear in my eye and a glass standing in my hand. Yeah.
So I think you said earlier on that at some stage you hope that you'd be able to complete the circumnavigation.
I'd be love to do that. Really,
presumably, if you've done a bit of it, it puts you in a prime position to be accepted to do more in the future, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Obviously, you're obviously being assessed the whole time. That the skipper, they're watching you, but it does. So I'd only have to do the level 4 training again, because the level 4 you do with your own crew and your own skipper
Oh,
and your own boat. So my boat currently is out of the water, having its markings put on, which is great. So the boats get cleaned. They're based in Gosport,
okay.
and we collect them on the 28th, and we sail them across. It's not too far this time, across to Portsmouth, where the race will go from. So yeah, it's having its decor put on at the moment, which is quite exciting.
And I think while you're out there, you can be tracked. Is that right?
I can, yeah. So my boat
barge can
number,
track you.
yeah, my boat number is CV22, and any maritime tracker, but the Clipper website will show the race as it unfolds. And I'm hoping, obviously, there'll be no internet, no form of communication from the boat apart from a satellite phone. But I'm hoping to get some form of communication every time we stop and get some pictures up. And I might try and write a diary and maybe try and do some form of blogging, but I'll see how I get on. It is pretty full on. Your 6 hours is not, there's not a lot of downtime.
No,
So we do
true.
go across the equator, which is quite exciting.
Oh,
We go from north to south. We go through the doldrums where there's no wind, and we are allowed to motor for 24 hours only to get through that very lull period. But yeah, so it's all about race tactics, which line you take, which sails you use, how well you use your sails. It's going to be exciting. It really is.
well, we wish you all good luck and a safe passage. And we'll look forward to hearing from you, perhaps during the trip. If you get when you get to Uruguay, if you get the chance to post a little video, we'll share that with everybody so they can see that. And then perhaps we can do another interview when you come back.
That'd be absolutely brilliant, Tony. I really appreciate giving me the time to say
Uh,
what I'm doing, and thank you for all your support. I know you're behind me, and that's really
I
good.
am indeed. Yes, yes. So good luck, and we'll catch up with you in the future.
Cheers then. Bye now.